First of all, thanks to organizing committee to give me an opportunity to present a paper here. And I really don't want to bore you too much because it's after lunch session and just before tea session. So I also believe you guys are getting impatient. So what I'm going to do is, from the morning onwards, I have gone through a very beautiful lecture from Mr. Datta, definitely then Professor Khanna, then other distinguished speakers on pipeline integrity. Yeah, it's a very according to me, it's a very important subject. And as a coating manufacturer and research and development guy, I believe, we can deliver a lot of solutions. But when we are going to the field and trying to understand, I believe we are giving least importance to the coating. Coating, people are giving a lot of importance to the steels and all those things. When it is coming to the, proper application of coating, proper selection of coating, proper maintenance of coating, people are giving actually least interest because it was last fag end of your whole process, and because of project delivery time and all those things, people are not giving that much of importance. So what I thought is using this platform to just give you a fair idea what is coating, what are the pipelines coatings available, and I will just try to emphasize more on epoxy based coating because of less amount of time available. So what is pipeline? I think Professor Khanna and everybody already told, so I will not go through this. Pipeline, it's a cost-effective transportation solutions and all easy to handle, environmental friendly and all those things. Basic purpose of pipeline coating definitely is corrosion protection of steel along with cathodic protection system, chemical resistance lining, like in nowadays through pipeline people are putting transporting oil, starting from crude oil to drinking water to gas to other chemicals also. So same coating will not work for every chemical. So you need to understand which coating can be applied. Improved flow, as sir you told about GALE, for gas flow, RZ valve and all those things are very important, and coatings are different grades of coatings are available, which are based on different technology and different processing methods. Heat resistance, there are a lot of applications coming up nowadays on high temperature crudes getting flowed through the pipe, like Cairn Burma is one example. They are having high temperature crudes there, and you need to go for different type of coatings there. Then definitely aesthetic. What are the challenges for pipeline coatings? Yeah, major challenge is pipeline coating is you need to find out a solid coating system because chances of easy maintenance is not here. Because coating pipelines, when people are putting pipelines, they are always considering the continuous service lives. They cannot stop the pipeline for maintenance and all those things. As like, in the case of typical petrochemical industries, they are storing crudes. They cannot shut down the crude in next 4 or 5 years or 10 years down the line tanks. The same thing here. So we need to go for coating solutions which should ensure that the pipelines are in continuous service. Another problem is pipelines are installed in remote location. If you want to do maintenance also, that is also very difficult. You need to dig out, you need to again see the pipelines, very difficult things. Various external factors which can damage the pipeline coatings, like case to case basis buried pipeline, if it is a dry area or if it is a wet area, your whole corrosion protection mechanism, corrosion will be different. Then if it is a rocky surface, it is a soft surface, it will be different. Then definitely internal coating failures. Now, some of the, for pipeline coatings, based on our experience and based on lot of journals and papers, some of the key important parameters which are very, very important are like, there are already established standards are available like APUI, ISO, BSE and CSA. Based on their own experience and their country's experience, they have come up with a lot of specs like for gas flow pipeline coating, people normally following API 5L2. Now, other than these, there are few tests which are also covered in these specs and also very, very important. One is definitely flexibility when you are handling pipelines, when you are doing a lot of bending and all these jobs, so your flexibility of the coating should be very, very important. If that is not flexible, then it can crack. Impact resistance, because when you are taking coated pipe from one point to another point, there will be chances of impact, so your coating should bear that impact. Abrasion resistance, definitely chemical resistance, because if you are using internal of pipe coating and if the chemical which is going through that pipeline, so if it is not resistance, then there will be a problem. roughness, definitely for a gas pipeline mainly. Weight addition, very, very important. Like, there are a lot of chemicals. If you are transporting through pipes at higher temperature or ambient temperature, your dry adhesion and wet adhesion is a very, very, for coating, when you are checking adhesion at dry condition without, without putting in chemicals, and when you are checking adhesion after exposing in chemicals, there are chances of, having adhesion, loss if your coating, coating chemistry is not proper. So this is very important to test. Definitely cathodic disbandment test, we all know, very important. And suitability for dam surface. Many cases we have seen, even if you give lot of process and everything in place, in like winter time when you have lot of dews and all those things, and you cannot stop all pipeline coatings, sites. They are always 24/7. Now in the night time, if they are applying, they won't be able to ensure 100% dry surface. There may be some chances of little droplets and all those things. Whether your coating will be able to take care of that or not, then what is the process available? So all those things we should carry out in checking. So I have tried to put some pictures like, how to carry out to test flexibilities, then your impact test, and your abrasion test. And this is very critical, when you are, when you are going through, pipeline coating, and based on your chemicals, you should have chemical resistance data. Very, very important, because suppose if you are going for drinking water pipeline, you should have drinking water suitability data in place. Now in our country, so far, there is no proper regulation in place, but there are a lot of drinking water pipelines projects are coming up nowadays in India also. But if you go to the outside of India, like Europe and US, they are having NSFs, they are having RAS and all those highly, independent bodies who are authorizing, coatings, whether it is suitable for drinking water or not. Like that, there are other chemicals, like if it is, going through some crudes at high temperature, then, some other chemicals. You should, whenever you are going for a coating, you should have that chemical resistance details available with you. So this is typically like this. Then other than this, if you go to the pipeline, pipeline sites or pipeline coating manufacturers, see, this test is very important. It's called roughness test, mainly for gas pipeline coating, internal coating industries, because with the roughness, smoothness of the pipeline coating, flow of the gas during transportation having direct relationship. So different customers are having different specs. We have seen even spec of less than 5 for some critical European customers. Weight addition test. And cathodic disbandment test, I think we have already covered in last few presentations, so I will not go for this. Another major point in pipeline coating is, sir, you also told so many things, your coating is very nice, your steel is very nice, but if your application process and all monitoring is not nice, then we will have a lot of failures. Absolutely correct, sir. So I believe, when we are, as a protective coating technologist, when I am developing a coating, I believe I need to offer a coating to my customer which is application friendly. I can give a very beautiful coating technology, but I'll tell him, you have to maintain plus minus 1 degree centigrade application temperature. You have to ensure that, whatever mixing ratio I'm telling, 3:1, 3:1 only you have to mix, which sometimes we have seen practically not possible. If you are not able to give small amount of allowance to the sites, they are not able to actually don't go for a scale up, must of scale. Like, in lab I can do 3:1, but whether in field, production field, whether exactly 3:1 is possible, or we have to give plus minus 5%, something like that. So what I'm trying to tell is coating must be application friendly. We need to understand how much application deviation should be available, should be possible at line, and we should take care of that. Major issues due to application problem, we must understand and must emphasize during the PQT or during the discussion between the coating applicator and coating manufacturer. What are the issues? Like if they are not mixing properly, like when you go to the pipeline size, normally nowadays all pipelines coatings are applying through plural component guns, right? So base is going, curing agent is going. Now if it is not mixing properly in through the spiral properly, and if it is going and depositing into the coating paint pipe, in pipeline, what will happen after certain, it will be cured somewhere else, 90% somewhere else, 100% somewhere else, excess curing agent. So all those things we must emphasize, we must highlight during the meeting between applicator and manufacturer. Poor adhesion on one side of the longitudinal seam weld. This is another major problem we have seen during our visit, our witness at site. Caused on inadequate surface preparation, definitely that, sir, you have already highlighted. Pinholes or roughness of the coating, blisters, foaming, stain lines, poor adhesions at cardback, and sagging, roughness, and all those things. So these are the things, during the application, even if your coating is very nice, you may, encounter all these type of problems. So all these type of problems, we need to ensure that as proper standard application procedure to avoid all those things. So for pipeline coating, what is the fit for purpose? The key element in ensuring that the coatings on new pipelines is fit for purpose includes what? A perfect specification and qualification process. Specification means you must understand what you want. If you're chemical, you know service environment, you know your design life. So you must fix accordingly your coating specification along with testing requirements and all those things, and put a proper qualification process. So any coating, if this is passing this, then only it is suitable for that. Then pipe supply, definitely Khanna sir mentioned about steel and all those things. We must focus on all those things. Then coating plant and inspection, very, very important. Which plant you are going to apply coating? You are giving a good coating, but your plant is not capable of taking care of contaminations and all those things, then it will not fulfill the purpose. Control of coating application, that we have already discussed, and control of site operations. That is also very, very important. Otherwise, all external damages can hamper the coating life. Now, I'll come. Only 5? No problem. No problem. Now we'll come to the point, what I'm trying to tell here is, coating chemistry, there are so many chemistries available nowadays. It starts from epoxy-based coating to polyester-based coatings to vinyl ester, glass-based coatings. Everything is available. I'll just focus on epoxy-based coating. There are 3 types of epoxies available for internal and external coatings: epoxy, epoxy phenolics, and epoxy novolacs. Now, epoxy phenolic, epoxy novolacs, the major difference is major difference between this, is the crosslink, the functionality of the epoxy resins, and based on that functionality, you will get a better crosslink densities. If you go for epoxy novolac, you will get better crosslink density. That means better tightly crosslink network, better resistance, better TG. So it will have better chemical immersion resistance. It will have better temperature resistance. So I just try to explain to here is, if you're coating film, how you're coating film, depends on, resistance it depends on your crosslink density. Now crosslink density is coming from your epoxy molecules, epoxy functionality. So if this is the case, your free volume is very high. So any water molecule can go inside this, or any molecule can go inside this, and it will create a failure problem. So you should have a better and better crosslink network to get better chemical resistance and better application environment. So for example, a coating which is very good at ambient temperature, it may not be good at high temperature, because at that time your coating will expand and it will have a very, high. I have another 2 slides. Now, as I said, all these properties of, coating chemical resistance and everything depends on the functionality of the epoxy resin, as well as it is also having, it's already 2 packs. Like epoxy is getting cured with different types of amines. So if as you are playing with epoxies like normal epoxy, epoxy phenolic, and epoxy novolacs, you can also work with lot of curatives like polyamides, cycloaliphatic amines, aromatic amines, aliphatic amines, mercaptans, and recent developments is some polycyclamines. Now we are having a lot of application like in all gas pipeline coatings. They are looking for better flow and minimum chemical resistance. So people normally prefer amines or polyamides. But if you think about just some acid resistance lining, some high temperature lining where high temperature crudes and sulfites and all those getting exposed. So you need to go for cycloaliphatic amine based epoxy novolac based coating. So depending on your requirement, depending on service temperature, you have to go for coatings. Now recent development is what we are saying is polycycloamine technology. It's a it's a patented technology from AkzoNobel. It's a special cycloaliphatic amine based. It's a blend of amines which is also having cycloaliphatic amines, and it is actually enhancing the functionality of the epoxies. Like we have epoxy Novolax, and if we add polycyclamine, it will actually multiples the functionality and cross-link density, and it will increase the chemical resistance and cross-link density of the coating. And we have, so in the interest of time, I'll just go to the highlights, So if you go for polycyclamine cured technology with epoxy Novolac, it will be having superior chemical resistance. It will be having high temperature resistance up to 120 degrees centigrade. It will be, can be apply up to 1 mm, even 2 mm thickness. So there are a lot of examples where exterior applications, instead of all conventional technology, people are going for this type of coating because it will give you a monolithic film. There will be a uniform film. There will be no chance of any joints and all those things. Then ultra high solid technology, zero VOC. There is no pollution and hazards. And another important is a very quick return to service. Means if you are applying this within 4 hours, you can ship your structures, painted structures. You don't have to wait for days or anything else.
Sir, time is
over. So these are the possible uses, like your field joint, potable water, petrochemicals, lining for concrete applications and pipelines and all those things. Some examples of some rehabilitations of activities. You can do rehabilitation maintenance within 4 hours you can again backfill. I think that's it from my side. What I'm trying to say in summary is, coating is a very, very important, according to me, aspect for pipeline integrity management. Even though we are not giving too much of focus, I sincerely argue to all pipeline manufacturers and everybody to give more focus on coatings. It will actually help to maintain the integrity of the pipeline coating for long years. While going for coating selection, please focus on your performance, your requirement first, then also try to understand the application process, where it is going to be application. Please fix coating manufacturer, applicator with proper specs and everything so that you will get a better life from your coating system. Thank you very much.